call this meeting to order. On a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Here.
Commissioner Gandy?
Here.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Here.
Commissioner Butcher?
Here.
And Mayor Campos.
Here, thank you. Now, Commissioner Gandy will lead us in the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
We bow your heads with me, please. Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for this wonderful, beautiful day. Lord, we just thank you for the wonderful rain you sent us yesterday. Lord, we just pray for your wisdom and your foresight as we conduct Lovington's business today. Lord, we just thank you for the staff we have and the employees. Lord, I just pray that you would watch over them and keep them safe in all that they do for our city. Lord, we just thank you for our wonderful citizens and the many things that they do and volunteer for in our community. Lord, we just pray that you would watch over them also. Lord, we just thank you again for your son Jesus and the salvation he brings us. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
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 I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Man, we're all getting better at that. Thank you, Commissioner.
I just got the tone wrong.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda as submitted.
I'll make that motion. We approve the agenda as submitted.
Second.
We have a second. All right, any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. I'll entertain a motion for the consideration of the regular meeting minutes of July 24th, 2017.
I'll make that motion. Go ahead, Art. You got it. I'll second it.
We have a second. Any discussion? Thank you. Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. We'll go on to commissioners and staff reports, starting with Mr. Duncan.
Mayor and fellow commissioners, just give you, I was called by New Mexico DOT the week before Fair and Rodeo, and they were just advising me that they're going to be in town. They're bringing permitting and water down Main Street to do some patchwork and fixing of some of the spots, bad spots. Just kind of put a little Band-Aid on it before we do the main DOT down there.
Can you reroute them to Avenue D as well?
But they will be here, they said either starting today all the way for at least 3 days, but with the rain that we got today or yesterday, there's major puddles down there where they were going to be fixing, so it should be this week that they should be down Main Street.
So is traffic going to be rerouted or
They're just going to be
detoured?
closing down the one lane, and possibly if they do, they will have the signage to detour.
Okay. Have we made that announcement, James, by any chance? Public announcement or anything? Could we? We will. Okay. All right, very good. Anything else? What?
That's it, sir.
Okay, thank you. Gary?
Your Mayor and Commission, I have nothing new to report tonight.
All right, very good. Thank you. Miss Joanna?
Nothing to report, sir.
Thank you. Miss Anna?
Nothing to report, sir.
Very good. Commissioner Sanchez?
Have nothing to report.
Oh, okay. Commissioner Butcher?
I have nothing at this time, thank you.
All right. I think the fair was a success. I think we brought in a lot of folks in our community, so that was really nice to see. I don't think we had any major problems out there, did we, Chief?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you. That's all I had. Commissioner Trujillo?
None whatsoever. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Gandy?
I'd just like to thank the Lee County Fair Board for inviting Trace Atkins. I really enjoyed the concert on Friday night. I didn't get to make much of anything else, but I did enjoy that. I'd like to thank them for doing that.
Very good. All right. Chief?
Nothing to report, sir.
Chief?
Nothing to report, sir.
James?
Okay, I'm going to have to break it now. Actually, starting on Wednesday, we'll be doing the phone system upgrade. Of course, we've sent that out by email, and it should be in the newspaper tomorrow. Wednesday will be the public safety complex as well as the municipal judge. Thursday is City Hall, and Friday will be motor vehicle. shouldn't be much of a service interruption. In the event of an emergency, of course, 911, this will not affect our 911 system whatsoever. It's just a matter of switching out phone systems. So LECO's been doing a lot of the preliminary work over the past week. Matter of fact, they were over at our chamber building today, getting that system over there ready to make the switch. Of course, we have the Municipal League Conference in Clovis this week. Commissioner Sanchez, I'll get with you after the meeting to talk about Thursday. And then on Friday, this Friday at 2 p.m., they do have the ribbon cutting for Drylands, if any of y'all can attend. That's all I have, sir.
Okay, thank you. Patrick, any legal words of wisdom for us today?
Nothing to report this evening, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, nothing else to report. We'll continue on. We'll go into public comment. The floor is open for anybody who wishes to address the commission. You may do so at this time. If you'll keep it to about 3 minutes, we'd appreciate it. Thank you. Just identify yourself and continue on, please.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Commissioners. Mara from Lovington Main Street. I just wanted to invite you guys to Thursday at 6 p.m. We will be hosting our vacancies and best practices workshop. We received some funding from the county, and that's what we're going to be using it towards. We'd love to have you guys there. I understand that y'all will be at the Municipal Leagues Conference during the other time, but that one will be just like the ending closure on it, talking about what everyone, the building owners, downtown businesses, and other individuals came to a conclusion. So,
all right. Mara, would you care to tell us about the downtown throwdown as well?
So that's coming up in 2 weeks. I think we're all still good to go on everything. We're actually working in collaboration also with the county. They're going to be letting us borrow their portable bleachers from out at the fairgrounds.
Okay.
So we have that ready. Drylands is set to be the beer garden for that. We have a few vendors already lined up as well, and they're going to be showing Rocky on Friday, the day before. That's also going to be weigh-in, so it's going to be like an actual real boxing event. So the day before will be weigh-ins, which are free to the public. Everyone can come in and watch them and look at them. They're going to be hosting the big major fight is I can't remember, Salinas I think is her name. She's the #1 in the state, and she's like in the lineup to go on to the Olympics to represent the United States. And she's going to be competing against the #3 girl. So that's like the big major fight. And it's a variety of ages. There's going to be some smaller ones in there too, like 8-year-old. And then just a variety. There's some here from Lovington actually. Maximo Sigala is also going to be out there. And then we have El Paso, Odessa, Midland, Albuquerque, different contestants from everywhere. So it'll be fun. Hopefully we'll have at least some of you guys there.
Would you confirm a kind of like a vicious rumor that I heard? I heard the 2 chiefs were trying to get in. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah.
So that's going to be the follow-up. Since we're not going to be showing the fight, we decided we'd have the 2 chiefs battling it off.
Yeah. Battle of the
They
Badges.
haven't agreed to it yet, but their name's under there, so.
Battle of the Badges Part 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is something actually that we'd like to look at for future is doing, he's tried doing it out in Hobbs with like the fire department and the police department, and we thought it'd be even cooler if we could get like Hobbs versus Lovington. I see James making faces. I've heard insurance is a huge deal. I don't know. We'll see. But hopefully this one's a really good one, and that way we can make it an annual event and not just be a one-time thing.
All right, very good. Thank you. Anybody else wishes to address the commission at this time? May do so.
Come on, Paula.
I don't have anything to say. Y'all are doing everything my way.
Somebody mark that down.
I've got lots to say. I'll take it with you later.
Okay. Okay, we'll go on into non-action items. Discussion of the 2019-2023 ICIP. Mr. Williams.
Yes, Mayor, Commissioners, we have attached an updated version of the ICIP. Really, the only difference is going to be in the year. It's identical to the ICIP that we submitted to DFA last year. So if there are any changes or requests, we would ask that those get submitted to us as soon as possible so we can enter them into the system. And at our last meeting this month, we will have to approve it so we can submit it by September 1st to the state.
All right, very good. Any questions or comments from the commission? Everybody good with it? Good with it. All right. All right, we'll go on into discussion of the Parks and Recreation Board appointments. James?
Mayor, Commissioners, Commissioner Trujillo had requested that we look at the makeup of our Parks and Recreation Board to incorporate positions that are affiliated with each one of the sports leagues that we have set up, which is the football, softball, soccer, and baseball leagues. So, of course, we've included the membership and appointment of the current board. And of course, the intent of this particular board is just to represent the community at large, and it doesn't specifically support any particular recreational organization. And really, it's just a public forum for people to come provide public input as far as planning on improvements or identifying those additional needs. The current board is actually made up of 7 members. We have a city commissioner, which at this time is Mayor Campos. We have 3 Lovington residents, 1 ETZ representative, and then we have 2 youth members. So 7-member board that we meet. We actually only are required to meet quarterly. However, it's one of those, we have the ability to meet more often than that, depending upon projects. So a couple of options in order to have a representative assigned to that. The first option is to amend our city code to where we incorporate the president or one of their selectees confirmed by the commission from either the baseball, football, soccer, or softball league. With one of this will require a change of code, which means we have to go to the expense of advertisement and also the codification to put it into our municipal code. It would make for an 11-person board where we could potentially run into some issues with quorum. We would be required to have a minimum of 6 members there if we had any particular action items. Another option is wait until current members' terms expire, which really we only have 4 because we can't replace a city commissioner. And also the youth members, those typically are not going to be people who are like the president of the different leagues. So we'd be looking at our resident seats and also our ETZ seat. However, this would provide or create inadequate representation on that board, because if we had all 4 of those leagues represented, we may not have the best interests of our park system being represented at those board meetings. A 4th option is to amend the code to allow the appointment of the league board presidents as ex officio members. In that particular case, it wouldn't take appointment by the commission. It would require a change in code. And also, ex officio it doesn't mean that you are allowed a vote. However, when you are an ex officio member, you are part of that decision-making process. Just as like the city manager is an ex officio member on several different boards throughout the city. 4th option is make no change in code, and the reason being is these are public meetings. We encourage public input. These meetings are published just like any other meeting that we have, but we don't really have a lot of citizen participation. And Mayor Campos can attest to this, we value that public input when we do have members of the public who come and participate on those different boards. So we would stand for any direction that commission would want to give to us.
Commissioner Trujillo, would you want to address this?
Yeah. Well, my objective is to get them more involved. I pretty much on a normal basis during their season, I always get a lot of input from wanting changes, asking about different organizations wanting to get involved in their league, donate to their league. Like, for instance, the scoreboard. You know, years back we used to have different organizations buy the scoreboard for us and so forth, and they always want to try to figure out how they come across doing something like that. Thing about it is there's so much in front of them, they don't know which direction to head. Go towards, so they'll come to me and then I'll go to James and we'll go to the board, and it seems like you're taking too many steps before you get a decision made. And I figured if we get them directly involved, that'd probably get their for them to participate more and get them involved, and maybe they'll help us create a better path for these organizations. They run into a lot of issues, even lighting issues out in the park, but if someone's here always to hammer on us on getting their place fixed, even just enough to get their games going on, I think it would be a positive. So what I was looking at when I was discussing it with James is just the ex official is what I was looking at. We could every year have an ex official reappointed every year. I don't know if it'd be a by appointment or what, but ex official, because normally every year the leagues all vote on a president. So whoever's the president of that league that year would be, he could be directly an ex official in that category. This way they'll show up to the meetings, participate. If they don't show up, it's not, I hate to say it's not on us, but you know, we're opening the door for them. We're giving them a seat at our table. If they're not going to take the opportunity to come over here and express their views, then they've lost out, not us. You know, it's I feel that we can only do so much out there for these organizations. So I think this way they got a seat at the table to help us make a decision, and that way they can see about where we stand financially and so forth, or even if it's feasible for us to do something like that. But at least there's only one vote past that. They sit at the table, then we get a decision made. It goes to the board for discussion, and we make a decision on it. And I feel that maybe it would help them get more involved in as well, grow the organizations, because they are growing. They're getting a lot of, you know, the hotels have been filling up and so forth with the leagues and so forth, and I've been excited about that and so forth. So I'd like to see more of that here in Lovington.
So Commissioner, let me make sure I'm clear. So you're talking about one president from a league, but we have 4 leagues. So how would that
We'd
work?
have 4 ex officials.
4 ex officials?
Yeah, 1 for each league.
Okay.
That way they both have a, you know, like to have some sort of say at the table. If they've got something they want to express or change out there, having problems with the restrooms, having problems with the lighting, they want to bring in, they've got an avenue leading towards a brand new sign paid for by some organization. Right there it is, you know.
Just basically a voice from that league.
Yeah, correct. And
Ex official, not vote.
Ex official, yes.
Anybody from the audience who would care to address the commission at this point regarding this specific issue?
Evelyn Hoageen. I am the president of the Boys Baseball League, and I am also on the Parks and Rec board. Discussed this with Mr. Trujillo, talked about it with James as well a little bit. My personal opinion would be either ex official or do nothing. I mean, we have monthly meetings and nobody comes. We're the only ones here. If I had a problem with my league, I either contact James directly or Wyatt or Dennis to try to fix the situation, but that's my personal opinion.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Anybody else?
Marla Price, I'm also on the Park and Rec board, and I agree with Evelyn. I think if they want to come, it's published and they know, or the ex-official either way. But we still have trouble with the ex-officials coming. We can't get the school superintendent to come to the youth board, so. But either way, it would work fine.
So you're proposing just ex official? Is that
Yeah,
right,
ex official, and just like you said, it's posted, but it's only posted in the Lovington Leader. Not everybody buys the Lovington Leader. And it's posted on social media, but not everybody watches social media. So this way we give them a direct path. We just go ahead and make them ex-official. If they get involved, they get involved. If they, then we, I hate to say it, be a Caesar, our hands are washed of it. We gave them the opportunity to be there, and if they're not here, they're not here. But I strongly, to me, I feel like if you get them involved, then they'll be involved. If you just wait for them, sometimes you got to reach out and pull them in. I mean, just sometimes it just takes a little effort on our side. We just can't sit here and say, well, we announced it and nothing happened. We announced a lot of things and nothing happens around here. So I don't think that's the right direction. I think we need to draw them in. It's just like anything else. You got to pull them in and show that they are welcome here. They're not afraid to address this commission or the board and get something done.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other discussion from the rest of the board?
Pretty well summed it up.
You guys all right with that? Okay. So James needs some direction on that, I take it. Is that correct?
Well, Mayor, Commissioners, what we can do is we can do a resolution to approve advertisement of the ordinance to make those changes.
All right.
Have that ready for, to present for you guys to approve at the next meeting. And we'd have to advertise the ordinance for 2 or 3 weeks. So by the end of September, we could actually make that change.
If you'll make that in consideration of the ex-officio representative member of the board, correct?
So is that ex-official person, he's gonna actually be appointed by the board that y'all are on, or is that gonna come?
He or she.
He or she through us, or is that gonna be through the board itself? You know,
How would that work?
How are
James?
we looking
Through the
at
rec board would or would it be the city?
Well, I need to visit with Patrick on this because I just realized that, you know, we have an adult softball league. So just come up with terminology where basically it would be the president, it would be that body. So if it's the baseball league, they would appoint who they would want to have representation. I mean, preferably it would be the board president. However, we do have Evelyn, who's currently the president of the boys baseball league. So does the board just want her to go ahead and represent their interests, or does the board want somebody else to do that? So we would just have an ex officio representative from, we'll figure out some language to bring back.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jim.
Okay, we'll go on into action items.
I make the motion we consider resolution 2017-64, consider approval of parking time limits of the south side of West Avenue K between 6th and 9th Streets.
Second that.
We have a second. James?
Mayor, Commissioners, we have numerous representatives from the schools here, but this was previously tabled. I think that was our June 6th meeting, or I'm sorry. This was previously tabled until we had more information. I know a couple of the things the schools have done is they are not going to be relaxing those standards or requirements in order to park in the student parking area over here in Area A. But in order to also to curtail any more additional parking, they have installed fencing with lock gates over here around the band complex and also between, I believe that's the cafeteria and A wing as well. So this was approved or recommended for approval by our Planning and Zoning Commission to limit time only during school hours from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And just on that south side of Avenue K between 6th and 9th Street.
And James, we do have signage that will be posted?
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chief, anything you would like to add to this?
No, sir. Like I said, my concerns were the restricting on the parking requirements, but since they've addressed that, I don't see any issues.
Those have been alleviated. Okay, very good. Any questions or comments from the board? Yes, sir, Commissioner Sanchez.
Did y'all get with the school officials to see if that was okay? About parking there, or not parking there?
Yes, Mayor, Commissioner Sanchez, they actually approached us with this request. So this was driven by the schools. I'm sorry, sir?
Everybody's in agreement as far as the school and the city?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Anybody from the schools want to address the commission? Since you're here. All right, okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
James,
Sir?
repeat that again about the parking lot. What's their stance on the parking lot?
Mayor, Commissioner Gandy, they originally, I believe there was some miscommunication where they were going to relax the requirements in order to obtain a parking permit. However, they are not going to relax that. You still have to have proof of insurance. You have to be a licensed driver in order to be issued the permit in order to park on school grounds.
Okay. And so people that typically we would suppose are unlicensed and uninsured that have been parking in that area will now park where?
I don't, Mayor Commissioner Gandy, I don't know that it's necessarily always a problem with uninsured or not being licensed. It could also be, as it was explained to me through, I guess, a third party, there can be activity going on off school grounds, and it does not allow the schools, if they're not parked on school property, to actually do vehicle searches. So by forcing them to park in that parking lot, that does allow to deter any type of activity that's not really in the best interest of the student. To answer your question as far as where will they park, they will have to park somewhere else.
So what are we going to do to protect the citizens on the other side of the street?
It's a public right-of-way. Individuals can park on that side of the street, unfortunately. I know when this was first addressed 2 years ago, I believe it was, that was one of our concerns, is it's going to drive the parking into deeper into the other residential areas. However, with the schools putting the gates up, I think part of the issue that we also see over there is it's a matter of convenience. So now, since they have limited access basically to school grounds coming through this area, people aren't going to want to park all the way over here and have to walk through here or go through the secure checkpoint at the front.
So basically, their only options to get into the school now are through the front doors?
Yes, sir.
Or basically from the parking lot area?
Correct, sir.
All right, any other questions, comments? Any other questions or comments?
I still disagree with it. I still think it's going to slam the neighbors on the...
So the residents are all right with it, you know, the residents that live on that side of the cave?
I don't know.
I know a couple of them are not. So.
Madam Superintendent, would you care to address the board?
I'd be happy to address the board. And what our concern was too is that was the problem before. They just parked across the street, and then it was a problem for the residents there. But by the fences, it eliminates any convenience of parking on that street at all. Because even if they park on that street, they have to come all the way down to the crosswalk, because our SRO enforces that they must cross at the crosswalk, and they must go through the secure entrance. So it's not a time saver. So really the reason the kids parked there before was because they could simply have an early out to lunch and didn't have to get through the parking lot. The fences there eliminate that convenience for them. So there's really no time saver, excuse me, to park on that street at all, because you're not going to be able to run in between the wings to get straight in and out of class. And our SRO and our administration will still make sure that they must cross at the crosswalk. So there's no convenience there.
Ms. Gandy, when you mentioned your administration, you talked about principals working in conjunction with the school resource officer.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Very good.
And we are committed to that, because we certainly don't want to be bad neighbors. Right. But we do want to ensure that our students that are driving are insured and licensed. So if we can make it as inconvenient as we can for them not to be following those laws, then we're helping the city, we're helping all of our citizens, and we're keeping our students safe because they're parking on our school property.
I understand.
It's like putting
it's a bad habit, and it's probably going to, even though it is an inconvenience in some aspects, I really feel that they're still going to park over there. I may be proven wrong, but yeah.
We saw a tremendous difference just when the SRO started ticketing students for crossing there, not in the crosswalk. Many students stopped parking there anyway, even without the fences, because they started enforcing that. And it's all about time to get to lunch and time to get to wherever they're going.
Right.
When that doesn't save them time, they'll look for alternate methods. So we saw a big difference.
I agree. I mean, you've got to put a structure in place, and then you build on that structure, and
Exactly.
that's the way I look at it. We got to start somewhere, and this you place it in place, and that way you don't have everything going in different directions. You put a structure in place, and you enforce it, and then you build on it. So I totally agree with it.
And we knew without the fencing there that would be a big problem. So that's why we went ahead and invested in the fence, because we felt like that would alleviate that problem and help us get a good start to it. The fence is already up. It was taken care of right quick. So we already have that up for the first day of school. So we think that will help with that concern.
I think also another issue is the safety factor, because there were several students that would dart in and out of traffic in between cars, and that makes it a dangerous situation. So we're trying to address that as well.
Yes, the congestion on Avenue K was a problem, and there's nothing we could do about that on both sides of it. This, we feel like, will alleviate that congestion, so it's safer, and our visitors actually have access to the school, rather than them being inconvenienced.
Any other questions for Ms. Gandy? All right, thank you.
Just the commission real quick.
Yes.
I actually live on that side of town, right in front of the high school. And while I agree there are going to be some that are still going to find it necessary to park off-side of that, I think it'll also help a little bit, just because it hasn't been that long since I graduated, and getting out of that parking lot was the biggest thing that we all wanted to do, was just get out of there. So we would actually park in front of the school and on the side, and then some of the people that park right in front of the high school are actually teachers, because their classrooms are located on an A hall, so it was a lot easier for them just to walk directly across. While I agree, I don't think it'll solve the issue completely, I think it's a step in the right direction.
All right, thank you. Anybody else care to address the board regarding this issue?
How's this going to affect the after-school pickups?
As far as buses, you mean?
No, not the buses. The buses come from over there. But then you're still going to have parents picking up off the street, right?
Well, they have 2-hour access to that street, so they can park along that roadway anytime during that time. Is that correct, Superintendent?
Yes, as a matter of fact, that will. As a matter of fact, that will make it better pick up, because before they were double parking and kids were running across the street to get in their parents' vehicle. So this way the parents can actually pull up alongside the curb, so the students are safer than trying to run across the street and double parking there, waiting for that because all the spaces are taken. So this way parents can pull up and get out of there.
And so the teachers are going to actually utilize that parking lot right across from the auditorium too.
Exactly. That Caliche lot right across from the auditorium, right across from the office, will be designated for teacher parking, and our administration will ensure that teachers park in designated areas as well. We'll all follow the rules.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the commission?
Well, if they can get that parking lot paved, that'd be great. No.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm just going to.
Okay. All right. We'll go to a vote. All in favor of approving Resolution 2017-64, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Roll call, please. Anna?
Commissioner Gandy,
Aye. Wait. No, I opposed it. Yeah.
Oh, he said aye. You heard it.
You said aye with us.
No.
Commissioner Sanchez, Commissioner Trujillo,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes. I'm fine.
and
That's my
Commissioner
name.
Mayor Campos.
Yes, the resolution is approved. All right. I'll entertain the next motion.
Make a motion, we consider resolution 2017-84, disposal of fixed assets, police car.
Second.
We have a second. James or Chief Rodriguez? Or Gary, I'm sorry.
We're just seeking the commission's approval to dispose of the vehicle that was crashed back in June. The insurance has deemed it a total loss. They have reimbursed the city, or fixing to reimburse the city, approximately $24,837 for the replacement of the vehicle. And we just basically needed to remove it off of our fixed assets.
Okay. What led to that loss, the vehicle accident, Chief?
Responding to a call, the officer entered the intersection with lights and sirens. The other car never slowed down. Our officer never seen it, and it T-boned him.
Okay, all right, very good.
Is the motor still good? So we're gonna salvage the motor?
We cannot.
Yeah, insurance, total loss.
We've got to dispose of it all.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Minus the equipment that we put in there.
Do we actually get anything for that when we dispose of it, or is it just a total write-off? You know,
As far as the vehicle,
Yes.
the vehicle, they're reimbursing the city $24,837.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear that one.
Yes, sir.
ago.
All right, any other questions?
And who actually hauls that off?
Once the paperwork is signed tonight, we will have to get hold of Travelers. They have some documentations that need to be signed, and then they'll make the arrangements for them to come pick it up, wherever they're going to have to pick it up.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. I'll entertain the next motion.
Make a motion, we consider resolution 2017-85, approval of updates to police department use of force policy.
Second.
We have a second. Chief Rodriguez.
This is just an update on our use of force policy. The old one, it was actually on what they call the reactive control module. They had changed it to Graham versus Connor case law. That's the totality of the circumstances, not just based on the issues. It just changes the language on that, and it also changes since we moved from the X26 tasers to the X2s, it just corrects the languages on it as well.
What is the correction in that language? What is the correction on that language?
For the tasers?
Yes.
We removed, because our old policy had mentioned X26 tasers. We are no longer using those X26s, so we revamped it to include the new language of the X2s, which is the current taser system that we're using.
Okay. And the reactive control model, is that the state that's moving past that, beyond that? Is that a national trend?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a national trend.
All right. So the reactive control model is basically outdated by now. Okay, very good. All right, any questions by the commission?
Have you tested it on yourself yet?
The taser? No.
You haven't taken the ride?
No.
So you don't carry it then?
No, I don't.
But you want to?
No, sir, I don't need it.
Okay. Huh? Okay, all right. Hey, I never carried it either. There's a reason for that.
Yes.
All right, any other questions about the commission? All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. I'll entertain the next motion.
Make a motion, we consider employee compensation and benefits changes to option F.
I'll second that.
All right, very good. James?
Yes, Mayor Campos, you had requested that we look at compensation in the form of longevity increase for employee based on their years of service. And as you can see, we've looked at the impact of the different funds that we have, various stepped increases based on your longevity. The option that Commissioner Trujillo had specified in his motion would mean that employees whose anniversary, it would be based on your years of service as of July 1st. So employees from 0 to 2 years of service would be eligible for a 2%, 2 to 5, 2.5, 5 to 10, 3, 10 to 15, 3.5, and 15 will be a 4%, which with the impact that would reduce our reserve from right now, our budgeted reserve is 27.46 in the general fund. It would drop it down to 27.1. And you can see the impacts to the remaining funds that we also have.
Very good. Questions?
I chose option F for one reason, to retain employees. We haven't given a raise in quite some time. For new employees, to retain new employees, based on a cost effectiveness, you imagine what it cost us to train a new employee versus giving them a 2%. I'd rather give them a 2% for new hires and not have to retrain and retrain because they've gone to greener pastures due to pay. And also the time served with the individuals who's been here quite some time, mainly favoring the 10 and 15-year veterans here, giving them something special because they have hung on for the last 5 years that we haven't given them a raise. So I thought I would push for option F. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I did visit with City Manager Williams for an extended period of time, and I have been visiting with him, so it's not anything that we're proposing that's just all of a sudden. I wanted to wait till the fiscal year was ending, or had ended in June, and now that we're in July and August, this is when I wanted to look at it. I think, of course, our employees are our biggest asset, and we want to take care of them. I wish we could do more. And it is a bit risky because we're not out of the woods yet, economically speaking. But I think we're good. We're looking better than before. So I want to take a chance and make sure that those people are taken care of, and that they're here, like Commissioner Trujillo said, for us in the long run. And I want to reward those who have been here in the long run. So that's why we went with a longevity type of a raise, to reward those employees who have been loyal to us. And I think we need to reward that loyalty. Anybody else?
No.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
You want to just do a roll call, Rob?
Okay. You have a question?
No,
Commissioner
I
Mitchell?
do not.
Okay, all right.
I'm fine.
Roll call, please. Anna?
Commissioner Trujillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Yes.
Commissioner Butcher?
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy?
No.
And Mayor Gomez?
Yes, we'll go on. Motion carries. We'll go on and consider the next motion, please.
I'll make a motion to consider accounts payable.
Second that, Honor.
We have a second. Gary?
If I may, your mayor and commission, the single largest expenditure, which was on the list that was provided to me, was for our electric bill. The $59,988 is a compilation of all the departments' electric bill. The second largest expenditure was, again, something that was identified, which was $44,574. It was primarily, well, it was for the evidence parking lot for the new construction behind the police department for our evidence facility. And where I was given a list of a few more questions, we have collaborated and come up with a few answers. But if I may, I'll just take a minute to find out if there are any other questions or interests that anybody has before I address this list.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
The last meeting we had, there was a bill for $200 for boots. For, I think it was Bernardo Gutierrez. And this week, somebody that was working with me had to come to town. They were going to buy him some boots also. So, are y'all buying boots for employees for special? Are they special boots or for the wastewater treatment or whatever?
Yes.
Mayor Commissioners, that's actually part of the uniform allotment that is provided to our employees are the safety boots. We will pay up to $200 for a pair of safety boots per those employees who work in our utilities and parks and recreation departments.
So, whatever department they work, they get them? Like in the utility or water department or?
Correct. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They haven't done this before, have they?
This has been a practice for 10 or 15 years, yes, sir.
Well, I hadn't seen the bill on it before, so I just wanted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before, and I can address that too, before it was a given the allowance. This year we did switch it up to let them go purchase the boots at a local facility.
I mean, I'm not upset they got them, I'm glad they got them, but I just wondered if it was a practice that y'all had to do it for the employees.
Yes, sir.
Y'all don't need boots, do you?
No, sir.
Y'all staff.
Yes. All right. Any other questions about the commission? Or from the commission? All right. Gary, I just had a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
AirMed Care Network, $6,900. Could you elaborate on that, please?
Yes, sir. This was a decision that was approved with our budget to provide a benefit to all the city employees and their families. And this is the annual cost for the AirMed.
Okay.
Supplemental insurance.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. And the Wild Bunch, 300 t-shirts or shirts, $3,900 to Mr. Alfredo Gomez.
I wrote down my notes on that just real quick.
Okay,
Their
James.
lodger's tax for
Okay.
the Wild Bunch softball tournament.
Okay, all right,
Yes.
very good. $4,600, Chief, for your department for Goserco Incorporated, is that correct?
That's correct. That is our recording system for the phone lines that go into the police department that are recorded.
Oh, okay, okay. And Gary, the $59,988 to Lee County Electric. What was that for?
That is just a combined electric bill throughout the city.
Okay. All right. And I guess we replaced the air conditioner at Troy Harris, is that right, or fixed it? Is that right? Okay. And PDM Petroleum shows fuel, but it doesn't state which department that's for. $4,293 for that.
That's a challenge. I do not know which department that's for right now.
Okay.
Which one?
4293. I think that's usually what ours runs.
360-261.
Yours is identified as police below that.
It's possibly, it looks like street department.
Mine says
fire.
Not streets and road.
42, 62, 72?
No. 360-261.
I see. Right above police water.
Mhm. That's fine. If you can just give me that information later, James.
Yes, sir.
And one shows the Pettigrew and Associates vendor left off the second page, $12,664. Yes.
Mayor Commissioner, that is part of our, one of our grant projects.
Okay.
We had paid page one of the bill because we never got page two. So we worded it that way so we were still eligible for reimbursement based on dates.
All right. And there's a couple, and just bear with me, I'm almost done. Special gas tax, Washington pedestrian, and also Jewel easement. One for $8,000, the other one for $34,000.
Yes, sir. Actually, the Washington improvements, that's part of the Central Plaza Phase 2, that's part of the grant that we have, that's part of the engineering and a contract that we had. The Jewel easement, that was part of the South Commercial Phase 1. It was more than just the easement. For drainage purposes, we had to obtain an easement, but there was also the stormwater protection plan. And that actually went to the Souder Miller and Associates, the engineering firm that we had.
Very good. And I want to apologize to you, James, because I got this information to Gary before the meeting, but I didn't get it to you, but I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Any other questions about the commission or from the commission? Okay. All in favor of approving accounts payable, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Motion carries. Before we go into closed session, and I want to thank James again for reminding us, or reminding me, I do want to thank the chamber for coordinating the fair parade. But we also want to thank Ray Lynn Dunlap for the many years of service that she provided the city and for dedication to us. And she is working with the schools now. So they took her from us. So I'm sure she'll do a great job there as well. I talked to her yesterday, or actually this morning. So she's very excited about her new endeavor. But we want to wish her luck as a commission, and we know that she'll do well. All right. I'll entertain the next motion.
Make a motion, we go into closed session pursuant to section 10-15-1 NMSA 1978, subsection H-7 regarding threatening or pending litigations to Travis Hobbs versus Lovington Police Department.
Second.
We have a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Aye.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Butcher?
Yes.
Commissioner Gandy?
Yes.
And Mayor Campos?
Yes. We will now go into closed session. Thank you.
special parade, Spanish heritage, and they chose me as their honorary. So I was honored to have been chosen to represent Lovington, the Hispanic of Lovington. So thank you to these organizations that put me up there.
Thank you for doing that, Commissioner. All right, anybody else? I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
No, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have a resolution to approve.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, you're right.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for consideration of Resolution 2017-86, approval of settlement agreement between the City of Lovington and Travis Dollars.
Second that.
We have a second. All right, James. Anything else to add?
No, sir.
Okay, all right, very good. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Now, I entertain another motion.
Make that motion.
Second. Meeting adjourned.